Welcome to SWIRL AI Search, the podcast that dives deep into the world of enterprise AI search. Discover how to unlock the value hidden within your internal data and accelerate your journey to actionable insights. Let's cut through the noise and find out how you can get the most out of your internal information. As befitting a podcast about AI, this episode was created with the help of Notebook LM. Please enjoy the Swirl AI Search podcast.
You know that feeling, right? You're trying to track down just one specific piece of information.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's that sales report you definitely saw last week, or like a key decision buried somewhere in a Teams chat.
Or confluence. Could be anywhere.
Exactly. And it feels like it should take, what, a minute? Maybe 5 minutes tops?
Yeah, seems simple enough.
But then you open one app, you search, nothing. You jump to another, try a different keyword, still no luck.
Then maybe email. Or was it a PDF attachment?
Right. And before you know it, that quick lookup, that 5-minute task, it's eaten up 20, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour of your day.
It's incredibly frustrating. It's
Mm.
more than just annoying, though. It's a real-time thief.
The silent one, yeah.
It really is. And it's a perfect example of something Stephen R. Balzac talks about in his recent article. He calls it the "it'll only take 5 minutes" principle.
Okay.
The trap is each individual search does feel small. Like, okay, just check Slack real quick. Just check the CRM.
Uh-huh. Feels manageable in the moment.
Exactly. But string a dozen of those 5-minute hunts together and, well, suddenly a huge chunk of your workday is just gone.
Vanished.
And this isn't just, personal hassle. It blows up into this massive, unscalable problem.
Yeah.
Especially at work. And really especially when you're dealing with data.
That's really the heart of what we want to dig into today. We're trying to understand why finding information has become such a bottleneck.
A huge one.
And what's the real cost? It feels hidden sometimes. And then maybe look at, is there a new way? Something that actually makes enterprise search work again.
Right. Can we fix this?
Yeah. And we're basing this deep dive heavily on that Balzac article, "It'll only take 5 minutes. Is killing search it doesn't need to," which just came out April 30th, 2025.
Hot off the press.
So this unscalable bottleneck, let's unpack that. What's really driving this problem when we're trying to find stuff?
Well, if you zoom out, it's kind of a perfect storm. Two big things happening. First, just the sheer amount of data. Companies are just drowning in it.
Yeah.
Balzac uses this image of going from molehills to mountains.
I like that. Molehills to mountains.
Yeah, the volume of information we create, we store,
Uh-huh.
it's grown exponentially. And frankly, most search tools weren't built for that kind of enterprise-wide scale.
Okay, so just the raw quantity is overwhelming. Mountains, absolutely. But it's not just more data, is it? It's also the variety. That seems key, too.
Oh, massively overlooked.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, just think about the landscape today. You've got your structured stuff, right? Financial data in its own system, customer data locked in a CRM.
Mm-hmm. Organized, mostly.
Mostly. But then you have this ocean of unstructured information. Critical conversations happening in Slack, in Teams,
Decisions made in chat threads.
email chains,
Yeah.
project docs scattered across Confluence, SharePoint, wherever. Meeting transcripts now, too.
Yeah.
Word files, spreadsheets, PDFs.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And the article points out the number of different interfaces, from Atlassian tools to Salesforce to Zoom Info. It's just spiraling.
So each one is like its own little island. Yeah.
Exactly. A silo. And vital information lives on these islands, often completely cut off from the others.
Okay, and that's where the pain really starts, right? Because maybe one app, like Salesforce, scales okay on its own as its data grows.
Sure, internally it might handle more data.
But the whole collection of apps, searching across all of them, that doesn't scale at all.
Not even close. And that's why the 5-minute task explodes.
So how do you even start searching across all that mess?
Well, that's the problem.
Hmm.
First, you have to try and remember where that piece of info might even live. Which island?
Right, was it an email or a Slack message?
Then you have to remember how to search in that specific app. What's the right keyword? What's the syntax? Is it case sensitive?
Ugh, yeah. Each one has its own rules.
So you try one place, grab the results. If it's not there, okay, pivot. Try the next place.
And you're constantly second-guessing. Like, did I search the wrong place? Or did I just phrase the query badly for this system?
Exactly. It's this constant, repetitive context switching.
Sounds exhausting just describing it.
It takes a ton of mental effort. And even if you get lucky, even if each little lookup does only take 5 minutes, like the principal says,
Uh-huh.
that time just stacks up like crazy. Balzac's research points to a pretty shocking number.
What is it?
People spending, on average, 1 to 2 hours per day, per person, just hunting for information.
1 to 2 hours a day.
Per person. Think about that across a whole company. The lost productivity, the broken concentration.
Wow. That's a massive hidden cost, just that drain of energy.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it leads to this really interesting paradox.
Okay.
Creating information. That scales beautifully now.
Yeah.
Easy. Storing it, cloud storage, whatever, that scales fine too.
Right, storage is cheap.
But the crucial part, finding the information once you have it, that has remained stubbornly, fundamentally unscalable.
So we built these incredible data mountains.
But our maps are still stuck. Back in the molehill era, we just kept adding more individual search boxes, not a unified way to navigate the whole landscape.
That really clarifies why it's such a persistent problem. Okay, so that sets the stage perfectly. The big question then is there a way out? Is there something that can actually change this, finally let search scale?
Yeah, is there a breakthrough? And the article suggests there is, pointing towards solutions like SWIRL AI search.
SWIRL AI search. Okay, what's the core idea? What's the promise?
The central promise is actually pretty elegant. It's this. The total time it takes you to find information doesn't keep increasing every time your company adds another app or another data source.
Hold on, so adding a new system doesn't make searching slower or harder.
That's the goal. It's designed specifically to break that gridlock, that unscalable mess we were just talking about.
Okay, that would be a game changer. How does it actually do that? What's the magic?
What's not magic? It's intelligent federated search. Think of it like having one central dashboard.
Okay.
A single visually elegant interface, as the article puts it. And from there, you can search simultaneously across all the places you have permission to access.
All of them? Like what?
Everything. Corporate databases, your own email, specific Slack channels, shared drives, even stuff on your local computer potentially.
Wow.
Whatever you need to search, it aims to connect to it. It basically turns all those separate little islands of data into one searchable continent.
Okay, one continent. I like that visual. So it's not just like the 3 most common apps then. I think I saw the article mention it connects to 100+ applications.
Yeah, the number is significant. It aims for really broad coverage. And here's a really key technical piece. It uses something called zero ETL.
Zero ETL, what does that mean?
It means it doesn't move or copy data, which is huge.
Why is that so important?
Well, traditionally, to search across different systems, you often had to do ETL, extract, transform, load, basically copy data from all those sources into one big central pot.
Right, build a separate data warehouse just for search.
Exactly. But zero ETL avoids that. It queries the data where it already lives.
No. Okay, so less duplication.
Way less, which is critical for security, for data governance. You're not creating extra copies of potentially sensitive information floating around. Reduces risk, reduces compliance headaches.
That makes a lot of sense. So it connects widely, doesn't copy data. But what about the searching itself? How does it handle all those different search syntaxes and formats we talked about, that user pain point?
That's where the AI, specifically natural language processing, comes in strong.
Okay.
You just type your question, plain English, like you'd ask a colleague.
Seriously. No weird colons or query codes.
Nope. SWIRL is designed to automatically translate your natural language question into the right query format for each different data source it's searching.
Whoa.
So it becomes format agnostic. You don't need to remember if it's userit in one system and usery in another, or if you need quotes or wildcards.
That alone would save so much time and frustration.
It frees you up entirely from being a query language expert for 10 different systems. It understands your intent, not just the specific keywords you typed.
Okay, so it finds stuff across all of these places using plain English, but then you get results back from .email, Slack, a database. How does it help you make sense of that mix? That could still be overwhelming.
Right. You don't want just a massive dump of links. This is where the AI steps in again, beyond just the query translation.
But how so?
It uses AI to organize and rank all those results. It uses a confidence-based relevancy algorithm.
Meaning
It's not just matching keywords. It's trying to understand the context and the relationships between bits of information, even across different sources. So it pushes the most relevant stuff to the top based on what it thinks you're actually looking for.
Okay, smarter ranking.
Smarter ranking, definitely. But it goes further. The article mentions it provides AI-generated summaries of the relevant content.
So like a quick synopsis.
Exactly. Instead of opening 10 documents, you get a quick summary right there in the results. And it even suggests follow-up questions.
Huh.
Like it might see you found a project proposal and suggest who approved this budget, or what were the key risks identified, to help you drill down faster.
It's like it anticipates your next question, kind of like a research assistant.
That's a good way to put it. And importantly, the user often gets to choose which AI models SWIRL uses.
Oh,
Yeah, so you're not locked into a specific model or vendor. You have flexibility there.
interesting. So instead of that chaotic list of hits from different places, you get curated results, ranked, summarized, with pointers on where to go next.
Precisely. It really sounds like it's designed to deliver on speed, security, and accuracy.
Okay. Speed from the unified search and summaries, security from zero ETL, accuracy from the AI ranking and context.
That seems to be the goal, transforming it from that fragmented hunt into a much more integrated discovery process.
This really brings us back to that core idea you mentioned earlier. If it doesn't scale, it doesn't work.
Exactly. And for so long, enterprise search just
Hmm.
hasn't really worked. Not effectively, because it fundamentally didn't scale with the reality of modern data.
Right. You could find things eventually, maybe.
Yeah, with enough brute force and lost time. But the time required just kept going up, not down. Every time a company added a new specialized app, a new database, a new collaboration tool, it just added more friction. Another silo, another query language quirk, another place to potentially look. It compounded the problem.
And so a solution like SWIRL AI search is trying to put an end to that steady creep of lost time and energy. That's what Balzac suggests.
Yeah, he says, well, it can't promise that it'll only take 5 minutes every single time.
Because some things are genuinely hard to find.
Right. But it gets awfully close. It aims to bring most searches back into that realm of minutes, not hours.
So let's bring it back to you, the listener. What does reclaiming that 1 to 2 hours per day actually mean? What does that look like in practice?
Well, it's potentially transformative, isn't it?
Right.
Think about the impact on just your daily workflow, your ability to actually focus on complex problems instead of just chasing down facts.
Yeah, that deep work time.
Exactly. And your overall experience, just interacting with your company's knowledge. Instead of feeling bogged down by the search, by the constant context switching,
You get that mental energy back.
you get it back.
Yeah.
And you could use it for higher value stuff. Critical thinking, genuine problem solving, maybe even coming up with new ideas. Innovation.
It shifts you from being a data hunter to
What?
a data user, an insight discoverer.
Yeah, something like that. It's about empowering you to move beyond just finding data to actually using it effectively and quickly.
That is a fundamental shift, going from hours of fragmented, frustrating searching.
Down to minutes, often, through an integrated, intelligent process.
Yeah.
It really could change our relationship with all this information we're creating.
So let's leave our listeners with this thought. If finding information quickly, across all these diverse, messy data sources, actually becomes the norm, if that friction is drastically reduced.
What does that unlock?
Yeah. What new frontiers of knowledge or productivity or even creativity might open up? How does our relationship with information itself evolve when finding it is no longer the bottleneck?
Imagine what you could do with those extra hours every single day. That time freed up to actually think and create. It's a powerful possibility.